When a developer takes an existing franchise and does something weird with it, something that's a huge departure from what the series has been in the past, they run a pretty huge risk of missing why people were interested in the series to begin with. Even if they do manage to make a good game, it can often still get a ton of negative reactions due to the fact that it's not like the others. And if you want to talk about games that make a dramatic departure from their compatriots, Metal Gear Acid is a great place to start. Traditionally, you would classify the vast majority of Metal Gear games as stealth action. And while what exactly that means has changed over the years, Metal Gear has managed to adapt and change with it in a way that seems appropriate. But Metal Gear Acid is a collectible card game. Throughout the game, you add cards to your deck, modifying it as you go to suit your playstyle, even buying new packs of cards with an in-game currency. But unlike a lot of other card video games, Acid also has a visual aspect to it. Instead of just laying cards out onto a playscape, in Acid, you're using those cards to perform actions within the boundary of a setup, not all that dissimilar to a tactical RPG. And I think it's that distinguishing factor that makes Acid so enjoyable. To start with, making stealth action a turn-based affair works surprisingly well. The game's systems require you to stay hidden through decisions made well in advance of any actions guards might take. Moving around the map is a very deliberate series of actions that take serious forethought, and it makes the already tense stealth of Metal Gear just that bit more tense. And there's one core mechanic that helps make that also interesting, what the game calls cost. Each card you use has a specific cost, and while you can only play a certain amount of cards each turn, it's really the cost that's more important, because the higher number of that you have at the end of your turn, the more actions your enemies can take while you stand by and helplessly watch. But that system also has its fair share of issues. The way the guards patrol the map combined with the cost system means you'll often have to spend several turns hiding underneath a desk waiting for them to move by, equipping item cards or discarding cards just to get your cost up so they go away more quickly. It's tedious. But I can deal with waiting, and despite its flaws, I think the card battling system of Metal Gear Acid works remarkably well. And it's one of the few games I can point to as a mostly successful adaptation of its source material, at least in the gameplay department. Acid's biggest problem is its story. And weirdly enough, it's not that it's a horrible story or anything like that. The story is perfectly fine, especially in the pantheon of Metal Gear stories. The problem is how they tell it, almost entirely through text. The series' penchant for insanely long diatribes and speeches is bad enough when you're getting it in the form of a codec conversation, but when you have to button through page after page of meaningless text, it gets old real fast. But actually playing the game is a good enough experience that I'm willing to look the other way. Most of the story content is completely skippable, and the fact that you can see the objective of any given mission when you start it means you never really have to pay attention to the story, which makes this game way easier to recommend. Every Monday, I look at a game that's at least 10 years old, what I would consider to be retro. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and thanks for watching.